So you applied for your visa. Your visa has been granted. And you are set to travel from Lagos, Nigeria, down to Sao Paulo, Brazil. And you booked your ticket and you're about to board your flight. And the immigration officer asks you, why are you traveling to Brazil? Are you traveling to Brazil to go and play football? I think that's one of the misconceptions some Nigerians have when you say you're traveling to Brazil. I was asked the same question. You're traveling to Brazil, right? Why are you traveling to Brazil? Do you want to go and play football? I'm like, no, I'm traveling for vacation. I'm not going to Brazil to go and play football. In this video, I'm talking about the misconceptions that people have when you are traveling to Brazil or living in Brazil, particularly as Nigerians. So the first one is they all think, not they all, some of them think you're going to go and play football in Brazil because Brazil is a football country. So when you get to the airport, the immigration starts in question, why are you going to Brazil? Especially when you're a young guy, they think you're going for to join an academy or you're going to go and play for one club or the other. And that's most especially not the case. you know. So I said no. When the person asked me, the immigration officer asked me, I said I'm not going to Brazil to play football. I'm just going there for vacation because I first came here to Brazil as a tourist before I started switching from tourist to another type of residency, you know, the work residency and all sorts before I became permanent here in Brazil. And this misconception has to stop. Just because Brazil is a football nation, a football loving nation, and football is really rooted here, doesn't mean everybody's going to Brazil to go and play football. And number two, yeah. So just because I've been in Brazil for like 4 to 5 years, and most people are gonna think I my accent, my English accent is gonna change. You feel me? Yeah. So the second point is some Nigerians or most Nigerians will think once you've been living in Brazil or once you've been living in the abroad, like for 5 years or more, your English accent will change. What you need to know first is the fact that Brazil is not an English speaking country. So I am not in Canada. I'm not in the United States. I'm not in UK. You know, I'm not in England. I'm in Brazil. So my English accent is still going to be normal Nigerian English accent, except I decide to want to study English separately and work on my accent like the UK or the American accent. So don't expect my English accent, my Nigerian English accent to change. It is not going to change. Brazil is a Portuguese speaking country. It is not even a Spanish speaking country. So my Nigerian accent is still going to remain Nigerian. You feel me? It's not going to change because I'm not speaking English. So don't think because I'm in Brazil, my English accent has to change like those that have traveled to America, Canada, or UK. So my accent still remains the same. It's not going to change over time. Nah, Brazil is a Portuguese speaking country. Number three on the list is the fact that just because you're living in Brazil, some Nigerians or most Nigerians would think you were desperate to relocate. That was why you moved to Brazil. Nah, nah, nah. That is a very huge misconception. Maybe some were desperate to relocate abroad. That was why they chose Brazil because they've tried Canada, they've tried United States, they tried other countries, some European countries, and they could not get it. So they're just desperate to relocate. Some people have gone to Lithuania, Luxembourg, some European countries, Romania, Kazakhstan. That doesn't mean they were desperate. Some were desperate though. That doesn't mean most people were desperate. Same goes to those immigrants in Brazil, Nigerian immigrants in Brazil. Not everybody's desperate. Some of us, this is the first time we're applying to Brazil, and we just decided to choose Brazil and not follow the crowd. So Some of us are not desperate to travel. We all have our purpose of traveling. Some came to get their permanent residency approved, get everything done, and be able to move in and out of Brazil. Some came, waited, and got their Brazilian passports for more freedom and getting a second citizenship. So some came to study, university, postgraduate scholarship. Some came to do business. Some came to enjoy, and they love the country. Some came for vacation. They love the country and they decided to stay. So that's what I always advise most people. Come here as a tourist. If you love this country, you can go back, come back and replan yourself and come back to Brazil and start living in Brazil. That's what some people do. So not everybody is desperate. Nigerians, stop thinking like that. Not everybody was desperate to relocate abroad before they came to Brazil. So Brazil is not like last resort. Brazil was the first country I applied to. The visa was the first country I applied to, Brazilian visa. Number four, everybody thinks you're unsafe in Brazil because gangster issue, gang issues, gun violence, and everything. I was just saying, nowhere is safe. Even Nigeria is unsafe. Even America is unsafe. A stupid student, a psychopathic student can just be shooting. A lot of gun violence in America, United States of America. And at the end, he has killed a lot of people. And the church, as a church, the court will still give a ruling, not a death sentence to the person that have killed a lot of that did mass killing. So nowhere is safe. So most Nigerians think you're unsafe. Bullet can just meet you, bam, straight bullets, poof, poof, poof. Not everywhere is unsafe in Brazil. Um, there are peaceful places in Brazil. I've not experienced any gun violence here. I've seen some in the news. I've been safe for the past 3 years, more than 3 years now, and hopefully I continue to remain safe. So I'm not going to the violent prone areas, and I watch my ways. So a lot of places in the north too, in Brazil, are very calm, you know, chilling. Don't worry, guys, you'll be seeing more of it. So most people think you're unsafe in Brazil because of drugs, drug gangster violence, or everything. Of course, some places are unsafe. That's the reality of some people because they could not afford to live in places that are safe. Number five, some Nigerians and some part of the world might think you're dealing in drugs. That's why you're in Brazil. Not everybody is a drug dealer in Brazil, please. Not everybody. Even not all Brazilians are drug dealers. Not all Brazilians are drug dealers. Not all immigrants are drug dealers. And not all Nigerians are drug dealers in Brazil. Cancel this misconception, please. Shalom. What else? What else are the misconceptions that people have about Brazil or Nigerians have about Brazil? Oh, the language one too. They think Brazil is a Spanish speaking country. Nah, Brazil is not a Spanish speaking country. Brazil is a Portuguese speaking country. So um it's not gracias. You get, it's obrigado. Valeu. It's obrigado. So it's not gracias. So it's not buenos dias. It's not buenas noches. It's bom dia. Boa noite in Brazil. We don't speak Spanish in Brazil. We speak the Brazilian Portuguese. Not even the European Portuguese that they speak in Portugal. You get? It's the Brazilian Portuguese. Even though they are similar, it's the Brazilian Portuguese. We don't speak Spanish in Brazil. What other ones? Just because you're in Brazil, some Nigerians will think you're frolicking around with girls. You're sleeping around. You're sleeping with every Brazilian girl you met. You're sleeping around. You're fornicating around. Just because you're in Brazil, you sleep around. You sleep around. You fuck this one. You fuck that one. You bang this one. You strap this one. Nah, that's not the case for most people. Not everybody is. pumping around. So that's one of the misconceptions, because you're in Brazil doesn't mean you're getting all the freebies, the ladies. Nah, nah. So stop sexualizing women easily, Brazilian women easily. What other misconceptions do Nigerians have about you living in, about Nigerians living in Brazil and or traveling to Brazil? Yeah, Brazil is broke. Brazil is poorer than Nigeria. Most Nigerians think Nigeria is richer than Brazil. Cut that crap, man. Cut that crap. Brazil is richer than Nigeria by far. And Brazil is one of the major exporters of some foods in the world. About 60% of some food produce in the world. I think acai, um, is it meat? Yes, meat. Is it what other produce? Sugar in the world. Coffee. Brazil is the largest producer. Like is producing about 60% of some food produce that the world consumes. Coffee. Brazil is one of the largest exporters. You get, so Brazil is not poor. Cut that crap. Cut that crap. There's the land mass. There's the people who almost have the same. Brazil almost have the same population as the Nigerian population, and there's the land mass. Brazil is huge. Brazil is huge. Brazil is fertile. Brazil is rich. Brazil economy is better. The infrastructure is dope. One another misconception is Nigerians always ask, "Do you guys always have light? Is there always light in Brazil?" There's always light. There's light every time. If you have a light issue or interrupt power supply interruption, maybe because something happened to your in your area and there's just an interruption in power supply, it's going to get back in like seconds or minutes. Or there's an announcement, or there's this alert, this rain alert stuff, pam pam, that everybody gets, this emergency wireless alert. Brazil has light, has infrastructure, has good transport, has free care. Nigeria will not give you this. You even die. You even pay to die in Nigeria. Although Brazil might have some shortcomings in all this aspect too, but it's far better than Nigeria. So Brazil is richer than Nigeria by far. By far. Kill that misconception. The other misconceptions that most people have, especially Nigerians, have about Brazil, about you living in Brazil or traveling to Brazil. So I can't cover all, but this is just what I can cover. And I'm still trying to conserve my energy. So guys, don't forget to like my video. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bada HQ. Bada HQ. Keep watching. Keep sharing. Peace out. Valeu. Obrigado.